Good morning once more. You're welcome to our channel. If this is your first time of watching our videos, we are actually involved in agriculture and livestock activities as well as agribusiness. Previously, we discussed on topics like disinfection and installation of day-old chicks. For those who have not yet subscribed, do well to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share so that others can get these interesting videos that we are uploading on YouTube. In today's video, I'm going to talk about prophylaxis, especially broilers, and the breed is Cobb 500. We are going to discuss on the vaccination program, the kind of drugs that you have to administer to your birds from the first day right up to the 45th day that you have to sell. So we will dive deep into the subject of today. So when you must have disinfected your poultry building, we have brought your chicks and installed. Now we will need now to follow them up. So initially, others before they even bring their birds to the brooding room, they do vaccinate at times at the company where they bought their chicks. Some people they associate themselves and then bring the chicks to their house. Maybe if they have 500, some have 300, they can associate, and then they buy vaccinate 1,000 doses, and then they vaccinate their birds. So with the vaccination program, it varies. There are other companies that they have their own way, their own protocol. So the one I'm going to give you today is the vaccination of birds. The breed is Cobb 500. So from the first day, when you bring in your birds, normally you have to vaccinate your birds against Newcastle disease and infectious bronchitis. But what others do, in order to avoid some stress, they associate all the three vaccines and then they administer them on the first day. That is, they vaccinate against Gomboro, they vaccinate against infectious bronchitis and Newcastle. So what they do is that when they have the vaccines, they take a liter of water, that's tangy preferably, because it doesn't contain chlorine. So they take a bottle of tangy and then they take 1/4. Then they mix the vaccine inside. What you do is that you take 1/4 of that water and put it in a small container. Then you open the vaccine inside the water. You don't open it outside. You have to open it inside the water. When you must have opened, you use 2 containers now and you mix. You turn into this other container and then you turn so that it actually mixes well. After you must have done that now, you take the chicks one after the other. You dip their beak inside the water and then you keep. You dip and so that you don't make mistakes. After that, you have to administer anti-stress, preferably tetracholine. You have to administer that drug for at least 3 days. After that, after the 3 days, on the 6th day now you have to give them just water. When you give them water now, on the 7th day, for example, you have to give them drugs against any prevention against any disease like salmonella. There are so many diseases that affect chicks. So you have to give drugs like norfloxacin. There are so many antibiotics: norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, norfloxacin, furatadone. There are so many. Depending on the posology, there are others you give a teaspoon, like norfloxacin is a teaspoon for 20 liters of water. Then you have to use any diuretic like sodiazole, anituryl, hepaturil. You mix and then you administer to the birds for 3 days. After that, on the 10th day, you can give drugs to avoid deficiency in minerals as well as vitamins. For example, there is amine total. You can mix amine total and mineral TS or calcium. You mix in water and then you administer to birds for 3 days. After the 10th day, you have to administer coccidiosis. There are so many drugs against coccidiosis. There's Cipcox, there's Anticox, there is Vetacox, there is Amprolium. You can use Anticox. It's a teaspoon for 20 liters of water. So after you must have administered, you have to administer that particular drug for 3 days. Now, you are already at the 13th day. Between that 13th and the 16th day, you have to administer a vaccine against Gomboro. So when you administer that vaccine against Gomboro, you have to administer after that. Normally, vaccination has to be done early in the morning. So you have to withdraw maybe at about 5 a.m. in the morning. You withdraw. You have to remove all the water that's inside the drinkers, so that at about 6:30 you mix your vaccine and administer to your animals. They have to be between 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes that they have not drank water before you administer your vaccine. So after that, you have to rinse your drinkers now, and then you give them anti-stress. So after that 16 or maybe 14 day, you have to administer them. You have to give them drugs that are that have to boost their minerals or maybe vitamins. We have mineral TS. Then for vitamins, we have Amin Total. You have to administer that particular drug for 3 days. On the 21st day, you have to give a booster dose of all the vaccines that you have done. You have to give vaccine against Newcastle, against infectious bronchitis, and against Gomboro. When you administer that vaccine, 2 hours after, you have to give them anti-stress for the whole day. After the 21st day, now you have to give them drugs against coccidiosis. There's Amprolium, there is Anticox. So you have to administer that particular drug for at least 5 days. After which you administer drugs for vitamin deficiency. What you are giving is for preventive purpose. It's not treatment. You are preventing your animals to be infected or attacked by diseases. For example, coccidiosis. You have to give them drugs that will prevent the coccidiosis from attacking your flock. After you must have administered coccidiosis for 5 days, you equally have to give antibiotics and diuretic for 5 days. After that, now you are already at the 38th day. So now you can give them, you can deworm your birds. Some of the drugs that you can use, you have piperazine, you have levalab. There are so many drugs that you can use to deworm your birds. After that, you can give drugs now against coccidiosis for at least 3 days. So at this level, you are already at the 40th day. So you can give some antibiotics. After this, you have to avoid giving them drugs because very soon your birds should be going to the market. So you give give little bit of anti-stress, and then you give them water and feed. So that is how those are some of the drugs that you can actually administer to your broilers as they are growing from day 1 right up to the 45th day. What I want you to understand is that during this particular period, you have to ensure that when your birds are sick, you don't vaccinate them because they don't vaccinate sick birds. During this period, if you, for example, you are giving an antibiotic and you realize that your birds have coccidiosis, you have to stop that antibiotic and treat that particular disease. You have to administer anticox for even 5 days, between 3 to 5 days, until that particular disease is being taken care of. Another thing I want you guys to take note is that vaccines normally are not supposed to be kept in a freezer. So you don't use vaccines that have been kept in a freezer to vaccinate your birds. You have to keep them in a fridge, not in a freezer. Then another very important thing that I want to share with us is that at the entrance of your poultry, there is a food bath with a broad spectrum disinfectant. This broad spectrum disinfectant, normally, if you allow it for a long time without changing the water that is, or the solution that is there, it becomes a source of infection, especially in an environment which is muddy. You move out the iron boots when you want to enter inside their poultry. You have to put your legs inside a foot bath. You normally have to change it maybe once after 2 weeks, once, depending on how you look at it. Maybe it can be once after 1 week. It all depends. So if you find this video interesting, please do drop us yeah, what you think in the comment section. Criticize, tell us whatever you feel about this video, so that it's actually going to help us to improve on subsequent videos. Thank you very, very much. So this video normally is going to help those who are still struggling in the poultry production, especially broilers, those who are into it, they don't really know how to go about vaccination. I think this is actually going to help them carry out their vaccination or treatment without any problem. Thank you very much.